people come to the breathtaking French Alps to ski down them. But here in the village of Merlet, I've discovered a few hundred madmen who have thrown away their skis and decided to drive down the Alps instead. Yes, every January, a couple of hundred 4x4 vehicles of every description converge on this tiny mountain village to spend 3 days and one gruelling night getting to grips with some serious off-roading. The event is now into its 21st year, and it's a curious, non-competitive affair called the Croisière Blanche. It's an event for the slightly crazy, people who are at their happiest when faced with the toughest terrain, forcing them to take their vehicles to the limit and beyond. I joined in the madness with a contingent from Jeep UK, headed up by the amazingly calm off-road guru Barry Stallard, and Chris Bashall, who specialises in turning 4x4 vehicles into off-road monsters, capable even in the hands of a novice like me. If you are going to be crazy enough to drive through parts of the Alps that even the skiers won't entertain, then it's probably not a bad idea to be doing it in one of these. I'm talking, of course, about the grandson of the original World War II Willys Jeep. This is the rough and tumble Wrangler. And it ain't any old Wrangler, it's a specially prepared Rubicon Wrangler. And it's guaranteed to get you out of a fix. And I have a feeling that I'll be getting myself into my fair share of them. The Rubicon is a special conversion named after the Rubicon Trail, one of the toughest off-road events in the States. Barry came up with some ideas of what he wanted his standard 4-litre Jeep to be able to do. And Chris Bashall from Surrey Off-Road came up with the ways to do it.
Well, basically this vehicle was at the NEC Motor Show, gleaming on the stand there. We've taken it. Barry wanted to put bigger tyres on, which meant we had to lift the suspension and the body. So she's now running 3 inches more suspension, 1 inch more body. We've lowered the ratio in the diffs. We've put locking diffs front and rear. It has 2 winches, one at the front, one at the back. And we've had to custom build all the winch bumpers and all the running gear for it.
So you've got a hell of a lot of kit on there, really. Does it make it very expensive?
Yeah, there's some stuff there which is probably a little over the top, but you've got a vehicle there that you can cruise on the motorway at 90 mile an hour if you wanted to, comfortably all day long, and when you get to the other end you can go out there and mix it with the top guys.
Well, with wheels like that I really couldn't fail, but first I had to master the art of the snow chain and cope with a very early start.
And the hooks are the right way, aren't they?
Yeah. That goes. I soon got the hang of it and we were off in a convoy to navigate the first of 3 extremely difficult technical routes that promised to take us up ski slopes, down perilous mountain passes and over makeshift bridges. But before we could even get to the serious stuff, disaster struck. An over-enthusiastic Frenchman at the front of our convoy had got himself stuck and was promptly followed by another one. Of course, the trouble with off-roading in conditions like this is that one minute you can be sitting snug and comfortable inside your vehicle, powering your way through the snow, admiring the scenery, and then somebody several cars in front decides to get stuck. And you have to wait around for an hour and a half while they winch and dig them out. The thing about this event is that there are points for team spirit and for helping your fellow off-roaders. So I suppose really I should go and do my bit, shouldn't I? In this event there are no prizes for finishing first. Points are awarded for understanding the road book, which is in French, for off-road ability, and yes, for your helpfulness in digging the other vehicle out of the immense snowdrifts. But digging didn't seem to be enough to get this one out. Luckily for them, the Rubicon is equipped to handle just about anything. Chris to the rescue. And so at last it was time for some real fun. Britons to enter this event were David and Audrey Davenport, serious off-roaders for more than 20 years.
It's a wonderful feeling to get so many people out here all smiling in the snow and bragging about their exploits, and the talk and the crack at the meals in the evening is unbelievable, because they're talking about, you know, these military vehicles they've towed out of the ditch and buses they've pulled out of the hedgerows, and it's just the excitement of it all, to see people who'd never done it before. So thrilled with what they've done and the achievement. You'd think they'd, they won a Grand Prix the way they're talking, some of them.
Audrey, would you like to see more British people out here? Is that what you're hoping to do?
I think David would, certainly, but we would like it better if they were more mixed in with the French people, like we were when we first started doing it, you know. And I think they'd get more out of it if they could, not necessarily talk the language, but, know a few words and try and mix with the French people. It's not easy.
In a village like this, it at the moment appears absolutely deserted. You wonder where the people are. But the odd people that you do see wandering around in the snow, they all wave. Nobody's shaking their fist at us. In terms of the mixture of the French and the English, I would like to see more English people here. But already I'm making attempts to mix the people up more. I'm limiting the numbers in some of the small hotels for next year, so that we actually share around and people are forced, to mingle a little bit more the way we had to when we first started doing these.
David reckons that around £1,800 will cover two of you for transport, accommodation, food and entry fees. Of course, that doesn't cover the cost of repairs to your vehicle if you have a tendency to investigate ditches. You'll also need to invest in some heavy-duty snow chains, which were quickly becoming a real pain.
Oh, the joys of off-roading.
But snow chains on, it's amazing what even a novice like me can get a standard 4-litre Wrangler to do. For 3 exhilarating days, I had an absolute ball. And although I didn't get any prizes on the final night, Mundy Noakes of Stourbridge displayed plenty of girl power by picking up a second prize for her driving skills and for generally being a true good Samaritan. Mundy, congratulations. You've done a coup, not just for Britain, but also for the women out there as well. Second prize in the whole of the Croisière Blanche. I mean, that's incredible. How do you feel?
Absolutely tremendous, wonderful experience, and I'm just over the moon. Can't really believe it at the moment, but just incredible.
What makes it more incredible is that is this your first event, or are you an old hand at this? You tell us.
No, it's my first major event, so it's extra special for that.
What about your driving history? Have you done a lot of off-roading in the past?
Not a tremendous amount of off-roading. I've driven Land Rovers for quite a long time and just messed around with them, really, doing like fun days and little events and off-roading in Wales. So this is the first big competition.
What do you think's clinched it for you?
What's clinched it? It's just going for it, really putting the vehicle through its pace and just being out there and being at one with the vehicle, really.
There's nowhere in England you can drive in snow like this with this sort of scenery. Ice driving, snow driving is a particular skill, and you've got to learn it. I've had to learn it. I've never driven in conditions like this before. And it's a challenge of being able to say, I've driven that, and come through and the vehicle's not damaged, and you're not, it just puts a big smile on your face.
What were you looking for in the vehicles that you brought out?
Well, all our vehicles, you've got to be able to do long distances on the road in them, and then still compete with the best that the world can offer when you get to an event like this, and I think we've done exactly that.
Are you pleased with how they've performed over the last couple of days?
Well, when you end up pulling a French armoured car out of the snow, you've got to say you've arrived, haven't you? I'd pay money to come back.
Why?
It's just the atmosphere is just brilliant, the location's brilliant, the people are friendly, you don't get any aggravation from the locals, they're pleased to see you, you're bringing money into the area. And the whole event has got a real atmosphere. It's very difficult to describe unless you've actually been involved in it.
Well, that's my visit to the 21st Croisière Blanche over with, and I think I'm off to indulge in a bit of skiing that I have to say now looks incredibly dull and boring and simple. It's been a very demanding but very exciting 3 days, and it's quite comforting to realise that the Englishmen are no longer the total mad idiots in Europe. I think the French have overtaken us on that score. So come on, all you 4x4 owners, give those vehicles a break from shopping at Sainsbury's in the school run. Invest in some decent tyres, a set of snow chains, and get yourselves out here next year to show the Europeans just what the British can do. I'll be there. See you then.
here's one for those individuals who feel that driving 3 inches from the car in front at 80 miles an hour will reduce their journey time by a significant amount. Because those clever boffins at Mercedes-Benz have developed a safety device that should reduce those ludicrous games on our motorways. Distronic uses a radar to gauge the distance to a car, truck, or even motorcycle in front. The sensor is hidden behind the radiator grille. There are 3 transmitting and receiving units, transmitting constantly with an opening angle of 3 degrees, and that enables the system to keep track of 3 lanes of traffic. The shortwave radar signals, 77 GHz, detect an obstacle and return on a different frequency. The change of frequency varying depending on the distance involved, allowing the digital signal processor to work out how close the obstacle is. Gentle easing off the throttle or braking in more extreme situations is then activated to increase the gap to a safe distance. Operating the new system is similar to Mercedes Speedtronic cruise control. When you've taken your S-Class to your desired cruising speed between 25 and 100 miles an hour, you merely move a lever on the steering column up or down and the system is engaged. Your selected speed range is displayed on the instrument cluster, as well as displaying a graphic of the distance between you and the car in front. And because the system uses radar, it can even see through fog or heavy rain. Now, many innovations start in top-of-the-range models like the S-Class and later filter their way down into more mundane models as the technology becomes less expensive to manufacture. This is an innovation designed to improve road safety and must be applauded for that. Personally, well, I think it just might annoy the hell out of the driver.
How sad. Hi, I'm Nick Weir, and over the next few weeks I'm going to be travelling the country, meeting people whose lives are completely ruled by engines. And the first group of people I'm going to meet, believe it or not, race lawnmowers.
This is our 5th meeting of the season, 5th race of the season. I've been fortunate enough so far to win the first 4.
I found quite a good use for Colin Fox's change of address.
I noticed the front of yours has got the exhaust over the front. Is that for extra downforce? Are you blowing the front spoiler? Yeah.
When's your phone on Colin?
How long's lawnmower racing been taking place? Is it an old sport?
It's been going now, this is its 26th year. Last year was our 25th, where we ran a 25-hour race.
Wow.
The idea of it really is cheap motorsport.
Yes.
So sponsorship is discouraged. And it's just for everyday person to be able to go out at a weekend and have great fun.
Right, Bob, well, we've got 2 machines here. What are the fundamental differences between the 2?
Well, the one you're sitting on is classed as a Group 3, which is intrinsically a tractor-based lawnmower. This particular model is a Westwood Lawn Bug, which seems to be the favourite. There are some other tractor ones around, but they seem to keep coming back to this one. This one with my machine, which is a Class 2, which is a roller-driven mower. Still got the roller underneath.
Which of the 2 are faster?
I have to say the Group 3s is.
Okay.
But coming into the wet, you might find that the Group 2s are faster in the wet because you've got more traction.
Right, enough of the talk. It's time to take this baby for a grass test. Glasses on. Holy shit! I can't believe how fast these things are. That's the craziest ride I've ever had in my life. You can't control it. You go like that with the steering wheel, the thing keeps going in a straight line. I'm not ready to race, but I'm ready to go and watch the professionals at it. Let's go and have a look. Well, it may look like fun, but I have to tell you, these people take it all very seriously. There's a championship series, and they even compete internationally. Actually, Formula One could take a lesson out of these people's books. How's this for an idea? The fastest people start at the back, so every time they race, they get a race, and not just a procession.
And they're off, sprinting across the track. Who's going to be first into their vehicles anyway?
Well, that was so exciting. I'm going to get a piece of action myself. This looks like this is the right machine for me. Gentlemen, start your engines.
Good morning, can I help? You looking for any help?
Hi, yeah, I think this is the machine that I'm looking for.
Right, what
Very
sort of
nice.
area of grass have you got to cut?
Oh no, I don't want to cut grass. I want to race.
Race? I think we've got just the machine for you outside.
So what kind of motor does this one got?
It's a 12.5 horsepower Briggs & Stratton engine.
Just, oh really? 12 horsepower, same as that one.
12.5
What kind of
horsepower.
fuel does it run on?
Unleaded, just ordinary unleaded
Normal fuel?
Yeah, normal fuel.
What about
yeah.
racing slicks? Can I get racing slicks?
slicks?
Yeah, you know.
We can fit you up with something like
Contact
that.
patch, contact.
Now I fitted the right hand side, I'm just about to fit the left hand side. Just go down here and I'll get it fitted. Right, got one here in my hand. You basically screw the track rod end onto the end of the steering rack until it comes up against that nut. We'll leave a few threads free and that free, and when we come to adjust the track, which we'll do in something like module 8 or 9, I'll stop us wearing tyres. There we go. Again, just put a bolt on, and when it's all together, we'll tighten everything up together. Next bit that's got to go on is the rear drive shaft. Now here's one I prepared earlier. Put two low broad joints, one on either end. It's a little bit fiddly to bolt in, but this is where it goes. In there, between the differential and the rear hub. Just slot it into position, like that. Get a couple of nuts on it, and then it's in. Again, we're going to leave everything loose and tighten it up later when we get it back on its wheels. I've had another read at the manual. The next thing we've got to get sorted out is the rear brakes. As you can see, I've already fitted the rear brake disc. We've cleaned it up with brake cleaner, and now we're about to put the caliper on. The caliper comes with the pads already fitted in. Slip it over the disc. A couple of Allen bolts go from the back and hold it in situ. Get so I can see what disc on. Slightly fiddly, it'll get there. Next thing we've got to do is fit the rear flexible brake hose. Quick question, how do you tell the difference between a rear brake hose and a front brake hose? Simple answer, the front one's shorter. Throw that one away, start by fitting the rear one. That's in. One of the things we're doing now with that is bolting it up, screwing it up fully tight. Then we'll take that all the way up and stick it through the bracket in the chassis. There. Stick a nut on. Now I'll finally tighten that up with a spanner, and then as you can see the steel brake pipe then goes on top like that. That's all there is to it. Next thing to do is the handbrake. Sit nicely attached here. The handbrake mechanism works through this rod to the cable, and the cable wends its way all the way around here, right round the back, down, and attaches to the rear caliper here. And to attach it to the wishbones and keep it out of the way, we're just using some cable ties. That's module 2 completed.